Hey guys, and welcome to World of Warships with Fulevu. In today's replay I want to give you a few pointers on how to effectively sail the premium British battleship, the Warspite. So the Warspite is quite a peculiar ship. It suffers from really horrendous turret rotation. Basically there are certain battleships in this game that could rotate their turrets by 180 degrees twice before the Warspite does it once, but there are also big advantages to sailing the Warspite, mainly really good armor, a huge amount of secondary guns with a pretty decent range on them, and also the most important thing, just an amazing ability to turn and lose speed, which is actually quite a useful thing when avoiding torpedoes. So I'm spawning in the north of the map fault line, and I spawned on the western side of that battleship cluster in the center of the map, right on top of our cap. So I figured that one of the battleships will most likely go towards the east, so I went towards the west, which admittedly is not the best possible place for me because that area of the map requires quite a lot of turning, and this is something that will always mess with your aiming when you're sailing a Warspite. Obviously it has got something to do with the fact that the turns so slow. So first thing, since the second season of Rank Battles, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for flags. I'm actually trying to ascertain the level of my teammates by trying to spot or whether or not any of them have got any of the Ranked Battles progression flags. I did the blue one that you get on rank 10, the red one that you get from rank 5, and obviously the Jolly Roger, which I'm flying on my own ship. So getting back to the battle. So it turns out that none of the captains that I managed to spot and check out their ships in the scope are flying any of the flags, so basically I have no idea about the competence level of my teammates. So a moment ago 3 battleships popped on the map, and they were 3 New Yorks. They were going in the same direction as I was going. And as you can see, the Aoba is going ahead quite aggressively, and I wrote in the chat warning the Aoba's captain that there are 3 battleships incoming, and basically I want to save his life. I know that if he keeps sailing the way he is, he's going to die, and he didn't listen, and as you will see in a second, he's not going to live that long. So again, I'm looking at the map, and it seems that the cruiser group in the east has kind of YOLO'd into that tight spot on that side of the map. I was expecting them to die, but it seems that they're actually doing quite well. So now I'm worried more about my own safety, because I'm slowly getting into the spotting range of those 3 New Yorks. Now these are tier 5 ships, so they are tier lower than I am, but there's many of them, and there's also a Cleveland there, which is a tier 6 ship. So yeah, and that's the Aoba dead. So yeah, as I said, the captain wasn't really very useful. So I'm thinking we're screwed on this side of the map, and I would really like to turn back, but if I do this now, I'm basically sentencing that Omaha to my left and the destroyer to a certain death. So I'm basically trying to engage those ships and make them aim at me, so I could tank that damage and give a fighting chance to this friendly tier 5 cruiser. So I'm sailing towards those 4 ships now, and it's really dangerous, and this is something, that's the first lesson I want to give you about sailing the Warspites. See, what I did here was decide that I need to turn around and I need to turn left so that the island will actually protect me while I would be showing the broadside to all those enemy ships. But what I did at the beginning was to make sure that the guns are being locked with the Control X slightly, well, in that direction right now, just now. So basically what I want to do is I want them to be ready to shoot the moment I will be sailing in a direction that will, basically make those guns be pointed at my enemies. So I completed the turn, and now I'm sailing away from them, so I'm in much safer position, and I'm starting to engage those battleships. And those guys, those captains of those New Yorks, are quite skilled. They, as you will see in this replay, they are really good at trying to throw off my aim. They change speed, they change course all the time, except for basically one exception. They're really good, and I have to appreciate their skill in sailing those ships. So right now, as you can see, I'm basically slaughtering squadron of torpedo bombers from the enemy carrier, and I can do this because I've decided to upgrade the secondaries and the AA armament through captain specs. And yeah, that squadron didn't really live that long. So I'm using the F3 key to point the Cleveland as my next target, and so did the New York right behind me, so we're in agreement. I'm just waiting for the Cleveland to come out from behind the island, but I see that he's turning away, so I'm adjusting my lead accordingly, and thanks to this I managed to land a decent hit on the Cleveland, and he's just about to die now. So yeah, so if there's any lessons I want to give you about sailing the Warspite, that would be definitely the fact that in order to be successful in sailing it, you have to kind of change your way of thinking about aiming and firing your guns, because it's the ship that is being turned around. It's not the guns. The guns, they're basically too slow, and in order to do anything with them, you basically need to turn your ship around. And the Warspite is excellent at turning. It's got a very tight turning circle, and also the rudder shift time is pretty decent for a battleship, so that's what you have to do. You basically have to keep that in mind. So I don't know if you noticed, but it seems that the enemy Congo is firing HE shells at me, and that kind of gives me hope for as far as the end result of this battle, because so far I was expecting to die basically and lose because of how my team was behaving, that suicidal run of the Ioba, those cruisers yellowing on the eastern side, one of our battleships, the New York, dying pretty quickly. So yeah, I was expecting to lose this battle, but the fact that the Congo's captain is persisting in using HE kind of gives me hope. It means that the experience level, if you want to call it like that, there's a chance that it's pretty even between the teams. So I'm under fire from all those enemy battleships. There's 4 of them right now, and I am their primary target. So I'm sailing away. I want to put some distance between us, and I see that my team is actually moving on towards the enemy cap. So I'm playing bait. I want to make sure that they are occupied with shooting at me instead of sailing back to their cap. So it works for a while, but now it seems that 2 of the enemy New Yorks are moving back, and they're actually in a division, so they must have been communicating. They must have been on some sort of voice communication like TeamSpeak, because they're very coordinated, and they're just steaming full speed ahead towards the B cap, which is very commendable of them. So I'm left with the slightly derpy HE firing Congo and another New York that disappeared for a moment. So I'm turning back in, and that's the moment when I spot the enemy cruiser moving in on our carrier. So I just basically pointed out to the carrier in case he didn't see it. So yeah, so now the plan is to move back, re-engage the Congo and the New York that are still there, to basically increase the chances of my team capping and winning, because so far the score is pretty even. Another thing I want to tell you is, well, I've been sailing the Warspite for the last 8 months quite regularly, so I'm quite used to the lead that is necessary to get your shells to hit the targets. But I would really like you to try using ranging shots with the Warspite. The Warspite has got pretty accurate guns, and it's really worth using that ranging shot to make sure that the remaining 3 turrets that you will use when firing the rest of the broadside are actually going to hit the target. By the way, I'm quite unlucky when it comes to this game. I haven't scored up until the last, I think, 10 seconds of the game. I haven't scored a single citadel, which is quite unusual. The Warspite is a really good ship, and I'm quite successful in scoring citadels. So anyway, the Congo shoots at me again, and it's showing me a really nice broadside, so I'm decided to engage it again. And again, HE shells, amazing. Well, I don't want to be dismissive of the Congo's captain, but this is a huge mistake. Don't do this, guys. Seriously. So again, I'm just about to do this exact, well, almost exact same maneuver as I did when I was turning around at the beginning of the battle. So again, I'm using the Control X to set up my guns to be ready in, aiming towards the back of this ship. And what I want to do is I want to sail towards this island for as long as possible, in order to avoid giving a broadside while I'll be sailing between those islands. Basically, that gap there, I know that they will be exposed to those 2 battleships' guns. So what I want to do is I want to be as angled as possible while passing through this gap. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using the Warspite's really tight turning circle, and basically I'm expecting enemy fire right now. So the I got a bit lucky here as well, because the enemy New York was clearly aiming somewhere else, looking for me somewhere else. So he wasn't ready to shoot, and now he runs aground. So yeah, I mean, I got lucky, but like, skill is the ability of actually using the environment to your advantage, and I think that's what I did just now. I did apply my knowledge of this ship and my skill of sailing it to my advantage. So I'm shooting that last volley right now, and my plan is basically to sail towards the B cap. It's being capped by one of our destroyers. He's doing a really good job, and we're really close to winning, basically, by outcapping the enemy. So the enemy Congo I was engaging, and that New York, they kind of got left in that basically useless part of the map right now, and there's no point of really pursuing to kill them.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
So the Minikaze is still capping, and I have to say that I'm sort of torn here, because I've already did 76,000 damage, and we're really close to winning by capping, and I would really, I'm greedy basically. I want to do more damage, so I have to admit, I'm kind of hoping that the enemy New Yorks will reset that cap, so that, you know, so basically I could deal more damage. But that doesn't happen. The friendly Minekazov kind of gets chased away from the cap, and you will see now he's basically going to sail out of the cap, and the cap is gonna get reset. So that means that I get another chance of scoring a bit more damage. And there we go, he just left the gap. Okay, so I got the New York in a turn. He's just about to show me a nice broadside, and it's 7.7 kilometers. I should be scoring multiple citadels right now, and I really don't know what's happening, but I guess RNGesus wasn't on my side this time. So I scored a decent penetration hit, but no citadels. And now that the cap has been reset, I decided I want to finish off that New York, and I kind of screw up the lead on this shot. I should have led a bit more, but I had an impression that New York was almost stationary. Anyway, that was my only chance to actually shoot at New York, so I refocus on the battleships I've been engaging for the last couple of minutes. Our friend, the Congo captain, is playing World of Reversing, and I'm sure, well, he's shooting at me right now, and I'm sure that is an HE volley again, but I think he's gonna miss it now. Yeah, he overshot. So now that the New York that is was on the enemy cap is dead, I'm turning back towards those two remaining battleships. The game is basically won, so I just want to farm a little bit more damage. So as you can see, I'm really using my radar quite a lot to help my turrets, my guns, move on target. This is something that you will constantly have to keep in mind, and also, you know, it's a battleship, so the radar shift time in this particular battleship is good, but it takes a while, so you have to kind of get used to the motions of moving your radar left to right or center a little bit earlier than you would normally, just to make sure that your radar is actually straight whenever you're shooting. I have a feeling that this actually has an effect on how big the dispersion is. So getting back to the battle again, the Congo is moving forward now for a change. And I'm sailing towards the east. Basically, I'm hoping that I'll manage to score a couple more hits before the timer runs out. I've got 57 seconds till the end of the battle. So I shoot my forward guns. Oh yeah, that's another thing that I would really like to recommend to you. Do not wait for all the turrets to align. If you can take a shot, just take a shot, even if it's just one turret after one turret, because seriously, you will just lose so many opportunities to fire if you're gonna insist on shooting full broadsides. So 25 seconds left to the end of the battle. The Congo has just sailed behind that island, so there's no way I'm gonna get it. So I make a hard left turn the moment I spot that New York sailing out from behind that island, and I line my guns, and I get a really nice reward, my first citadel in the game and another kill on the New York, and that's the battle over. So let's move on to the battle end results screen. As you can see, this wasn't a record-breaking game for me in the Warspite. Only one citadel, only one kill, 3 planes shot down, 60 hits on target, and you will see in a second just how much damage those 60 hits did, plus at one citadel. Obviously, the Warspite is a premium ship, so even though performance-wise this was a mediocre game for me, I suppose, I still managed to score 327,000 of profit and 3,200 of experience, which translates into the second place on my team and 1,400 base experience. Damage-wise, it's really straightforward. I managed to fire 148 shells, of which 61 managed to land on targets, 59 penetrations, and that gave me 120,000 of damage. Since the Warspite is a premium ship, the repairs don't really cost that much. So yeah, 294,000 of pure profit with the premium account, and if I wasn't running a premium account, that would be 184,000, nearly 185,000 profit, which is a pretty decent profit for a nice game. So quickly, just to recap the tips that I wanted to convey in this video. First of all, and that will apply to every ship that you're sailing right now, at the beginning of the battle, try to check out the ships of you on your team. Use your scope and look for the flags. They will give you an idea of the skill level of your teammates, and might give you an idea of just how strong a certain flank on your team might be. So that's tip number one, and that's quite a universal one. Tip number two, and that's about the Warspite. You have to turn the ship to help the guns align, and this is something that you really need to be aware of. Tip number three, when upgrading the Warspite, try to boost its strengths instead of fixing its weaknesses. I think what I mean here is try to go for the gun accuracy, for expanding the range of your AA guns, you know, this kind of stuff, for basically faster rudder shift time. Those upgrades and those changes, modifications to your ship, to your Warspite, will benefit you greatly. Tip number three would be what I said right at the end here. Don't wait for all the guns to align once you are actually on target with at least one of your guns. Then don't hesitate and shoot, because otherwise you will lose a lot of opportunities to shoot, and you might lose out on potentially quite a lot of damage. Tip number four, something that I haven't mentioned yet, but that just came to me now, is the fact that Warspite is amazing when it comes to healing damage. If you run this replay again and just see how much health I'm recovering with every single one of those consumables, it's just amazing, it's astounding. So try to make sure that if you take damage, you always will have a chance to withdraw a little bit and spend that time regenerating your health pool. Basically, it will again increase your contribution to your team's victory, and also allow you to deal more damage, gain more experience, and have more fun. So I think that's all I wanted to show you in this particular replay. I will most definitely do a quick clip on my choice of captain perks, the upgrades that I chose for my Warspite, and all the other modifications in the near future. So make sure to come back to my channel and see this if you're interested. And yeah, I think that's it for now, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this, and I managed to actually teach you something about how to be successful in sailing a Warspite. And if you did, please rate the video down below. It definitely helps the channel out and keeps me motivated to come up with more materials like that. And if you did like this video, definitely think about hitting that subscribe button, because I will be posting many more of these in the nearest future. So for now, I say thank you, and I'll catch you on the open seas.